Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am Ryan Clifton Bowler, and I want to get right down to it. it. It's becoming more and more evident, more and more evident of the extent by which the left will go to silence dissenters of the narrative that they're trying to spin. And I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan have now gone on stand-up comedy now. I think that's something he used to do. It is something he does quite often or did in the past, whatever the case may be. I'm not too familiar with Joe Rogan. All I know about him is he used to be the former host of Fear Factor. That's about all I know. But he's gone to comedy to basically explain himself. In other words, he's basically apologizing on his comedy sketch. And my thought on that is simply stop apologizing, brother. Stop apologizing. But I'm not going to go too much further into that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to read an article, a relatively short article from Breitbart News. And then after I've completed that article, I'm going to give you my detailed opinion on this. So we're going to start right now. The title of the article is Joe Rogan Falls Back on Comedy in Latest Attempt to Evade Council Mob. And then as it quoted in quotations, I talk S for a living. This is Joe Rogan's words, of course. Joe Rogan has pivoted back to his comedy roots in his latest attempt to address the cancel culture mob that has accused him of using his massively popular podcast to spread, quote, misinformation about the coronavirus vaccine. In a stand-up comedy performance Tuesday in Austin, Texas, Rogan reportedly said he shouldn't be taken seriously because of his background as a funny man. I talk blank for a living. That's why this is so baffling to me, he told the Austin audience, according to the Hollywood Reporter. He added, if you're taking vaccine advice from me, is that really my fault? Excuse me. Now, I want to say this right up front before I go any further. I don't, like I said before, and I said this in the video before, I don't watch Joe Rogan. I never watched his podcast in length. I watch clips of his podcast. And I think I saw a portion of the podcast where he had two professional doctors, medical doctors and medical experts on his show. And they were talking about the vaccine and the virus. And I don't recall him giving any kind of advice to anyone. He was just making some points. So, in a sense, this is just Joe Rogan in an undercover kind of sense apologizing. But let me go on. What dumb blank were you about to do? Wait a minute, let me read it again. If you're taking vaccine advice from me, is that really my fault? What dumb SISHIT were you about to do when my stupid idea sounded better? Why are you putting yourself down, bro? You know that dude who made people eat animal D's on TV. You know what he's talking about, DICK. I can't cuss, okay? I'm not going to do that. How does he feel about medicine? If you want my advice, don't take my advice. The stand-up appearance comes after Rogan issued multiple apologies that did little to placate the mainstream media and leftist celebrities who are engaging in a pressure campaign on Spotify to drop the Joe Rogan Experience, which has a bigger audience than many major news outlets, including CNN. During his stand-up set, Rogan hit back at the outrage mob for digging up old interviews in which he used the N-word. Bunch of nonsense, this N-word crap. And this is his words. I used to say it if he was talking about a Richard Pryor bit or something. I would say it in context, he reportedly said, before adding, I haven't used that word in years, but it's kind of weird. People will get really mad if you use that word and tweet about it on a phone that's made by slaves, end quote. Rogan said he won't be accepting Rumble's $100 million offer to jump ship from Spotify. Spotify has hung in with me inexplicitly, Rogan reportedly said during a Q&A segment of his stand-up appearance. Let's see what happens. As Breitbart News reported, Spotify recently mass deleted dozens of episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience in response to the media's pressure campaign. Spotify CEO has also pledged to spend $100 million to promote diversity on the streaming platform. These people make me want to throw up. But here's my whole thing on this. Let me just give first and foremost, this apologizing has to stop. It has to stop. I don't believe that he should apologize because I don't believe he did anything wrong with the so-called medical misinformation thing. He didn't give medical misinformation from the little bit I've heard. And far as him using the N-word, from what I was told from other sources, is that he was quoting someone else. He himself wasn't actually using the N-word. He was quoting someone else. But yet the woke mob going after, because they couldn't get rid of him before, and I said this in the previous video, because they couldn't get rid of him with this Neil Young guy, because Spotify couldn't get rid of him or wouldn't get rid of him. Now the left and the leftist liberals and leftist celebrities are digging up junk, as he said in his stand-up comedy routine, digging up junk in the past to try to demonize his reputation so that people won't watch his shows anymore, and perhaps Spotify will get rid of him. See, I said this before and I'm going to keep saying it. The left doesn't care about which side you on. The radical left, they don't care about what side you on. You got to be either all in for them or not at all. If they say jump off the bridge, if the radical left says jump off the bridge, you better jump off the bridge. If the radical left say eat dog poop, you better eat dog poop. If the radical left say, let's go bow down to Satan and worship Satan, you better bow down and worship Satan. If the far left say, let's get the mark of the beast, 666, you better get that mark. You better get that mark, because they're coming after you regardless of your political affiliation. Because the radical left, which is just a variation of Marxism and communism, want to completely change America. The only way that they can do that, the only way that they can change America from its original roots that it was founded on, is to completely, sorry about that, I had a phone call. The only way that they can do that is to completely control the narrative. Anyone that conflicts with the narrative that they're trying to spin, whether it's in schools, whether it's in the entertainment industry, whether it's in politics, anyone that tries to conflict with their narrative, regardless of how logical it is, regardless of how factual it is, regardless of how much sense it makes. And in fact, if it's really logical and it really makes sense, they really want to attack you, because they don't want us to think. The radical far left do not want thinkers. They don't want anyone, regardless of your political affiliation, once again, to evoke the masses of people to think, not even once. They just want you to feel. They just want you to be filled with rage and anger and bitterness. And so now, as Joe Rogan was saying in his comedy sketch, he said they're trying to bring up stuff in the past that he said in the past, and now Spotify have deleted dozens of his videos because they're caving under pressure. Let me say something about that caving under pressure crap. What is with these people, Spotify and others, apologizing and caving in? Listen, the millions of, I know Joe Rogan ain't watching this, but let me just say this. The millions of people that's watching Joe Rogan, black, white, Hispanic, I don't know what their racial ethnicities is. Millions of people are watching him, and it's even, as the article states, more so than CNN and all these mainstream leftist, loony, mainstream media outlets. These people are not complaining about something Joe Rogan said in a previous video many times, years ago, or I guess it's years ago, whatever. They're not complaining. So why are you apologizing? Why are you guys caving in to the radical left? These radical left people are a minority, whether they're celebrities or whether they're politicians, or whether they these loony people out here with the blue hair, they're the minority. Why are you caving in to them? They're not the ones making you money. The people that's making you money and the people that's giving you attention is the millions of people that's watching your show, Mr. Rogan, Spotify. Them the people that you should be concerned about. When they start backtracking, then you can start saying, okay, we need to take these videos down. We need to curb this. We need to do that. But don't cave in to the devil. That's what the devil wants. I'm getting so sick and tired of these celebrities and people apologizing. I'm so tired of it. I guess I kind of can understand if you have a position and you're fearful. But there comes a point where you're going to have to just take a stand and say, look, let it be what it's going to be. I'm taking a stand. More people are with Joe Rogan than are against him. The only people that are against him is the radical far left. These loony nutbags, far leftist people that are against him. They're the minority, not the majority. It seems like they're the majority because they control the narrative. So it seems like they're the majority because they control the narrative, but they're not the majority. And a lot of people don't think that, and a lot of people don't know that. The far left is not the majority. That's a mind control technique to make you think they're the majority. They're not the majority. Most people in America got a brain. Most people in America got a brain. And even if they're not thinking on a level that they should be thinking, the minority, far radical left don't want any kind of insight or thought to invade their mind to make them think on a high level. Because they know they are the minority. But they have the power. They have the politics. They have the media, the mainstream media. They have the voice. And that's why they want to shut everybody else's voice off to make them think, that makes them question the narrative, that makes them question what's going on. So all this apologizing, well, I just want to say all this apologizing needs to stop. There comes a point where people need to just, these celebrities like Joe Rogan and others need to take a stand. Now, as he said, he's not taking $100 million. Now, it may have changed, but according to this article, he said he's not taking $100 million that's coming from a Rumble. Some people have debated, said he should take it, he should not take it, but maybe not. I don't know. But as one YouTuber said, if he takes it and he goes on Rumble, his audience is going to follow him there, but it's just going to be an echo chamber where it's just filled with a bunch of conservatives. And as one particular YouTuber whom I've subscribed to, I really, really love, stated, and I agree with his opinion, is that you need dissenting voices. You need voices that challenge the common narrative so that people will see the other side. If you just have one side and that one side is corruptive, which the far left, in my opinion, is corrupt and evil and dangerous, okay, then it's going to brainwash millions and millions of people into believing that rhetoric, which is ultimately to turn America into a socialist/communist country. That's ultimately what I believe the goal is. Well, if you don't have any dissenting voices, as this YouTuber said, that challenges that narrative, people will be brainwashed into believing that. So to go to Rumble, I agree with to go to Rumble. If Joe Rogan goes to Rumble and takes $100 million and goes to Rumble and his audience follows him there, a vast majority of the people on Rumble are conservative. So it's going to be an echo chamber, just a bunch of conservatives talking to each other and not getting their voice out there in the field, the wider audience. But nevertheless, my point simply is this: all this apologizing needs to stop. Take a stand, Mr. Rogan. Take a stand. Stop apologizing. The radical left don't care about your apologies. They want you off. They want you off of Spotify. But remember this: they are the minority. They're not the majority. They're the minority, and they're scared, and they're shaking in their boots, and that's why they're fighting, because more and more people's eyes are opening. More and more people are starting to become aware. They may not say anything, they may not act like it, but they're becoming more and more and more aware. They hush because they don't want to suffer any persecution or opposition. But when voting time comes, watch where their votes go. If they got brains and if they got sense, they may not say anything out loud, but they're going to sure scream and holler when voting time comes, when the midterm elections come. They're going to sure scream and holler because they know all this craziness in the schools and entertainment and the rest and politics is just totally crazy, totally erratic, totally ridiculous, for lack of a better word. for lack of a better word. And so I just wanted to say that, want to give my opinion on that. Joe Rogan, stop apologizing, man. Take a stand, okay? Take a stand. The people are not against you. It's the minority far left that's against you. When the people, millions of people that watch your podcast start leaving your podcast and saying, I don't want to deal with you anymore, then you need to start worrying about it. But right now, you don't need to worry about it. Take a stand. They're on your side, brother. But I just wanted to say that. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again.